Hello and welcome to the Three Will Podcast. This is your host, Danny Ryan, and I'm here with my co-host, Tommy. Tommy, how's it going?
It's going well.
All right, and it's Tommy Ryan, my brother. Excellent. Let me check your socks. I have to look across the room here.
Let's see. It's
what is that on them?
it's a bunch of dots.
Oh, a bunch of dots. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any. I forgot to wear my crazy socks today. Oh well. Wear them next time. It is Thursday. Are we back to our normal recording time?
It looks like it.
Excellent. And last week we were at the Ignite conference, which would like to take a little bit of time here, and maybe decompress and talk through some of the thoughts from the week. There was a day where you and I would go to the sessions, but that's no longer the case, is it?
It isn't. Those are days long ago.
Now we get to play the booth babe.
We had some pretty good booth babes this year.
Yeah, we had 4 of us. So if you dropped by the booth, thank you so much. You picked up your Three Will proper pint glass, which we had gave out. It was
a big hit.
About 400 of those guys went out to people. So
yeah, you did an awesome job,
hey,
Danny.
Thank you.
One of the better conferences, I think, in terms of how our booth was set up and the people that we had in the booth and the amount of people that came by to see us, and just some great conversations. A long, exhausting week, but I think very productive.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So it was here in Atlanta, for folks who didn't attend, and we had to make sort of the strategic decision around, because this week is Dreamforce, and we made the decision to go all in on Microsoft this year.
Oh yeah.
And with it being here in Atlanta and the circumstances of the focus now, where we're really hearing SharePoint all the time, and really Microsoft's renewed energy towards SharePoint, it sort of made it not a real big decision for us to jump on this and become a sponsor and have our own booth.
Well, Dreamforce did have you too, so that made it a little bit painful.
That did. You went to the party on the last night. I was hoping maybe you two would show up and do a little cameo.
No, just some local bands.
No.
I mean, it was good, decent bands, but no name brand bands.
So
sure.
what were and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the parties, but from talking with people, did you get any sort of general sense of what people are dealing with right now? What were some of I know we asked a couple of questions, had sort of a daily question each day. What were some of the conversations that you had with folks about what's going on right now?
Well, I mean, one of the things that we noticed being as part of Ignite is that we had to hone in on, who is Three Will and what do we do, because it's not a SharePoint conference. It's a conference that really is all the products of Microsoft for the enterprise. So,
yeah.
Sometimes you have people coming in, especially for the free beer that we had. Mm-hmm. And but when the conversation went down the path and we talked about our different practices of migrations, portals, app dev, and solution sustainment, found a lot of people interested in what we're doing with migrations. Mm-hmm. And everyone typically has SharePoint. I mean, rarely you'd have someone say, well, it's nice that you do SharePoint, but we don't have SharePoint. Most people had it, and you get the sense of they're not sure what to do with it. Some people would be concerned about it in terms of where it's gone, and then some people would say, yeah, we've got it, but not sure what we're doing with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really it was kind of interesting seeing the typical person walk up to the booth, and of course we had, if you weren't able to see it, we had a couple of whiteboards, and with us being a consulting organization, we love a good whiteboard, don't we? Mm-hmm. And we had a good time with sort of we had the free beer and then the mugs, which sort of pulled people into it, and then finally people were sort of saying, what is it you guys do? It seemed like the short answer was, we're a SharePoint consultancy, then we either got one of two reactions. One is, oh, great, I need to talk to you guys about something, or, oh, I don't need to talk to you. I'm a Exchange admin or something.
Right.
So that sort of response. But it was nice. I mean, it was, if we were at like a SharePoint conference in the past, we typically that wouldn't be our first answer. We wouldn't say, oh, we're a SharePoint consultancy, because there, they'd be all around us. There would be a bunch of other companies who do the same thing. But this one, we sort of had to have that as our first message, and then from there, it would branch off into other questions.
Right.
Yep. So what was any surprises from the week at all? Anything that came up that from conversations that you were having with folks that surprised you?
I don't know if there were any big surprises. I think there was a conversation about Yammer being dead, but I think that was a misguided conversation.
That's just Yammer Enterprise, right?
Yeah, Yammer Enterprise. Okay. I think it's the standalone Yammer, okay. But the integrated experience of Yammer is definitely here to stay, and heavily integrated into the Office 365 strategy or for groups. And so, yeah, it's not dead. I think there's some definitely struggles of, I wish Yammer was more like a Slack, or, we'd see improvements to it because it seems to be the same thing that it was before it was acquired. But it's one of those things that, we talked about it before. I mean, the purchase of Yammer was more than just the product. It was kind of the approach of a cloud SaaS offering and the engineering needed to do that well. And I think they're doing a good job with that. I think overall we're seeing Office 365. The availability is pretty good. The keeping things fresh and bringing things new to the table keeps people excited about the platform. So I think they ended up getting a good purchase. It's frustrating at times to see the lack of innovation within the Yammer product.
Boy, with the experience of the Wunderlist outage a couple weeks ago, it gives you this feeling like you really are dependent on these services, aren't you?
It is, and you have to think about contingency plans of, if you're a big organization and something like that goes out, it can bring you to a crawl. We all know with email, we can't live without email. It's like air; you can't breathe.
Mm-hmm. So we were talking a little bit about Yammer, and I know I guess Skype they're having some sort of thing for Skype for groups or something that is sort of like a Slack equivalency.
Right.
I guess another place to collaborate. Right?
Yeah, it's interesting. Skype, I know. Years back, Chris Edwards would use Link, a Link session, almost like what you would use, say, a Slack conversation with a group, where he would just open up a Skype group conversation, just leave it open for the day. So you had ways of collaborating. And so that need has been there, and people have kind of used Skype or the predecessor to Skype, Link, as a way to communicate in a group. So it would be nice to have that as more long-standing, that you can set that channel up with that group and revisit it day after day versus having to recreate it every day.
I saw, sort of side note, I saw our buddy Daniel Chang from Salesforce. He's actually was leading up the partnership with Slack. So it was interesting to see.
Really?
Yeah.
He was at Ignite?
He was not at Ignite. He was at Dreamforce. I was seeing pictures from Dreamforce.
Okay, pictures of Dreamforce. I see.
Yeah, it was good to see Daniel starting up a new relationship with them and seeing some pictures of him. It was
cool.
Yeah, it was good stuff. So, party wise, the MetaFest was I thought was a success. It was fun we had a little setup with our people like Jenga. Huh?
Yeah, the giant Jenga. I think that was the hit of the night. I think a lot of people were doing that. That table kept busy the whole night, and a lot of people surrounding it. And I've never seen a giant Jenga, but
we're gonna have to get one. We're gonna have to get one for the office.
Yeah,
I think that could be the official game of 3Will. How about that?
Make it so.
Every once in a while, you hear it crashing in the office, and people say, "What is that? What was that noise?" Oh, it's just the giant Jenga of 3Will. Yeah. So that'd be fun to have that maybe out in the kitchen.
I think one of those puzzles looked like a homemade giant Jenga.
Jingle.
Jingle Jenga.
Jingle. Yeah, they were different sizes, so that added another dimension to the whole thing. It seemed like one of the Jengas was had larger ones and smaller ones, so that definitely made things interesting. So that was a fun party. They had some great bands out there, and you were able to hear, what was it, Sam
I
Felt?
staged for Sam Felt.
You are
He
good.
rocked it.
I was feeling like every conference towards the end of the week I start getting sick, and I was getting sick, and but you hung it out. You hung it out there. You powered through it, and you enjoyed it?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I did. It's kind of music that, I was there for maybe 30, 45 minutes, and it becomes kind of the same beat. But just seeing it live and seeing Sam Felt in the way he DJs was neat.
Awesome. And you had
pretty neat.
You had a buddy in town too.
Yeah, I had Jorg Ammendinger from Germany, Saarlouch, Germany, and he's someone that I met through my years at Siemens, and I actually visited his house when taking a business trip out there to do some stuff at Siemens, and started a relationship. He's been a guy that just a super nice guy, super smart, really geeky. I like those kind of people. And he was telling me he was coming to Ignite, and I ended up giving him a place to crash, and he's my carpool buddy every morning.
That's awesome. He picked up a HoloLens.
He did.
Were you able to play with that at all?
No. Actually, I had dinner with him and another guy named Bob Meads that I worked with at Siemens.
Nice.
They were brainstorming on, a manufacturing HoloLens proof of concept. So I witnessed it in person, the creation of a new company someday in the future.
That's where new companies come from?
That's right.
Probably a little bit of beer or
there
wine
was
involved.
a
Yeah.
little bit of that.
I'm certain of it. Well, cool. Well, anything else from the week? Sort of takeaways from the week. I know we're doing the production of Kirk and Pete's now, which they had a couple takeaways from it. Any big takeaways that you have from the week?
I think one of the things that it just gets reinforced is that it's almost a unified ecosystem.
Yeah.
There's a lot of microservices that come together for solutions, and creates for us, it challenges us to look beyond SharePoint as we look for solutions for our customers. So the app dev practice helps us with that. I think the portals practice is broader than what we traditionally have done, where we have conversations around OneDrive and Skype, and giving a fuller picture of what is collaboration for our customers, and not narrow it down to just SharePoint. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, that need is still there. I think people can get stuck with SharePoint and get so far, and companies that embrace it, we're seeing it today, they just get so much value out of what you can do out of the box, and then put the special sauce on top.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice. It was my sort of takeaway. I enjoyed the time we had to spend with the Metalogix folks to see Contently, to see what's coming. I think we're all pretty excited about what we saw there. It was great having Kirk win the Innovation Award. I thought what he did was
very
pretty
cool.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about what we're seeing coming from Metalogix. Did you go over to the Nintex booth at all?
No, actually, I wish I did. I know some of the folks from Nintex came over to say hi, and I was busy with a customer or a prospect at the booth, so kind of bummed that I didn't have that time. I think in retrospect, I wish I spent more time going around and looking at the booths. I mean, typically we've done that year after year, and really didn't get a good view of what was there in terms of other booths. So I'll make a point to do that next year.
And next year it is in Orlando, which
is not too far away.
Yeah, not too far. We've driven down there. I don't know if the situation I'm surprised they're able to do it down there with it being such a large conference, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see how that goes. I know I've driven down there. Our original, the tree, the booth tree that we bring to all the different conferences.
Right.
That's originally from a conference that we did. I bought it down in Orlando, so
Okay.
we'll have to bring that thing back home. It'll be fun to do that again next year and see how that goes. All right. Well, Tommy, thank you for taking the time to do this.
Sure
And
thing.
thank you, everybody, for taking the time to listen. And Austin, have a great time editing this thing. And have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.